when you talk of Make in India, what does the Make in India mean? Make in India means government wants to make sure that from an agricultural economy, it wants to move to an industrial economy, because that will create jobs. It is a signal for people to come and invest. B, it's a signal for bureaucracy to ease up. I disagree with my friend. Bureaucracy across the world is about control. The businesses are about entrepreneurial development, and the two are in conflict. They have been in conflict for the last 200 years. And I disagree with any person who says that bureaucrats can manage a system well. Bureaucrats are there to facilitate system, not regulate a system. If that happens, if Make in India translates to that it becomes a catalyst, it's fine. And last of all, it means to the Indian industry the days of liberal licenses are over, it's time to be competitive. So in this context, I think Make in India has to be conceived and read in these terms, that the timing for India has arrived, but India is still at a stage where the world is looking at it as a marketplace where they'll sell their goods, while as opposed to China, which was a production house. So therefore, the demands from India are different than they were from China. And India, like China, is also going to face, and actually the Asian experience of manufacturing is going to be hugely different from whatever the West has experienced over the last 70 years. A lot of sociologists across the world have made us believe that only the West can be the vestibule of entrepreneurial development and of new product development. Unfortunately, the world today is a far poorer place to live in than it was 30 or 40 years ago. And Asia is amongst the poorest. So unless we innovate, and we can innovate at lower cost with lower life cycle cost, products don't work in India. So Make in India is also about a redefinition of market through Asian perspectives. It's not just India alone. So when we talk of this, there is a huge demand potential, which everyone is attracted to. There is a huge caliber lapse, because the whole concept of education and the concept of training is changed. Today, education does not happen in schools and colleges. I am quite convinced about it. It happens on shop floors, and especially for large economies like India, which are populated. It works in training institutes. So, I mean, the whole there's a paradigm change. There's a small amount of fusion that's undergoing in the system, and that's part of it can be seen. This slogan, Make in India, is only a representative of a time and a space that exists. It is not about an invitation alone. It's also about responsibility that you come here and do. And now when you talk of the spaces, I look at things differently. Across the world, and small and medium industries actually control economies. In India, we have either small companies or very large companies. There's no middle companies. What do mid-sized companies do? Let's analyze that. Mid-sized companies are the ones who are far more fleet-footed. They are more globalized than multinationals. Multinational are head office driven. And I'm sorry to say this, that globalized companies are people who actually go and study the markets locally, and they figure out things and find solutions, and they lead to local innovation, and which helps them improve their products and their access to market, because their chances of survival would be lesser. The large companies come with a brand, come with a product, and come with a promise of that product, and if somebody does not want that product, it's called consumer education. This is going to change in the next 15 years, and in India. I can assure you of that today. Because that is exactly what McDonald's had to go through. Today, KFC sells vegetarian stuff. Why? Because the market demands as such. You have to understand the market, and I would say the biggest opportunity today in India lies for small and medium-sized companies. But unfortunately, Indian government, RBI, and all laws are geared towards large companies. We need the spine of an industrial base in our country, which can only come from small companies and medium-sized companies. There is a policy and an addressing mismatch. And this needs to be corrected.
I will maybe, if you permit, skip Ms. Rühl for the moment and go to our third. We've heard, I think, some pretty clear words. Competitiveness, in principle, the competitiveness